Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy. Of course, you can find me on X, Elizibitty213A, and I'm here with my co-host, Valley. What's up, girl?
Hey. Hope you had I was like, what day is it? I was like, I hope you had a good weekend. It's like all the days are blending in together right now. So yeah,
Really?
again, you can find Biddy at Elizibitty213A. You can find myself at the Kelly Melody. I go by that Valley Girl, your common sense advocate in a world full of madness lately. We have a lot to go over today.
Yes.
Yeah, trying to see if I'll go scorched earth or not. We'll see.
Listen, girl, I don't, at this point, I don't blame you. I feel like I'm like numb. I just want to sleep and wake up maybe 6 months ago when I still had hope. But yeah, we have, we have the story that's on everybody's lips, and rightly so. So let's just get into it. Why don't you kick us off there, girl?
Oh, okay.
You must.
Yeah, no worries. So I actually have to pull it up on my end. Just give me one sec here. I do know exactly what the article is about, but just so we can kind of go through it word for word here. So this is an article from CNN. Epstein fallout poses a loyalty test. Trump or MAGA? I'll try to summarize this here.
Title. Yeah,
I'll try to summarize this here because we pretty much know what this is about. But CNN basically says it's Trump versus MAGA. In the days since the Trump administration released a memo about Jeffrey Epstein directly at odds with conspiracy theories pushed by the president, which is wild because normally they're saying like his base are being the ones that are pushing conspiracy theories. So now he's saying the people aren't and the president is, right? So I thought that wording was kind of interesting. So he is, coming out with all of this, and some of his top lieutenants, Trump's movement and his supporters are in revolt. The Justice Department and the FBI released a memo last week concluding there was no evidence that Jeffrey had a list of powerful men who participated in his alleged underworld of sex trafficking. Again, this is what he campaigned on. So yet after years of big promises to the president's base, the memo failed to produce a smoking gun, undercutting Trump in his team's own words, and MAGA isn't happy. There's infighting. The DOJ and the FBI came to head Wednesday at an explosive meeting where FBI Director Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, were confronted about whether they were behind a story that said the FBI wanted more information on Epstein. This is just a shit show, right? Because the article continues to criticize like Bondi, essentially saying she's going on Fox News, never really misses like a television moment. That Bongino had told people that he was considering resigning. As you know, if you are active on social media at all, or even if you're just like reading into politics, you know that Bongino did not go to work on Friday. And at first there was kind of like speculation that He got into it with Pam Bondi. Now there's other sources that are saying he got into it with the chief of staff, Susie Wiles. So we don't really know what's going on here. You know, this is a big deal because this is what Trump literally campaigned on, right? So if Trump campaigns on being the most transparent administration in history, this is the golden era of healing, like we're, you know, getting out the corruption, we're emptying the deep state. Like at this point, I'm just fully convinced it's a whole uniparty. One just is kind of against government assistance and gender ideology. One is for bigger government. But at the end of the day, I just think half of DC is on this list. I think it's the state versus us. I think the deep state is the state. I feel like there's too much to go on. And the thing here is I actually saw an interview earlier today where I believe it was Chris Cuomo on News Nation, which I've actually grown to really like News Nation. I've said this multiple times in the show. I think they're like pretty unbiased. There's like a huge shift between like Chris Cuomo on CNN and him now. And he was talking to Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother. And he's like, he doesn't believe Epstein killed himself. He's like, Kash Patel goes on and says, you know, he's witnessed many suicides, like unalivings, sorry, YouTube, whatever. But like, how he was kind of like mocking Kash. Like he was like, how many have you seen exactly? Like, how do you know the signs? Because there is that minute marker missing from CCTV.
And Pam Bondi went on the press conference trying to like, she flubbingly tried to explain that part away. It was really weird the way she said it.
It was
she
very
was like, oh, at the end of the recording every night, right before you would, I guess, hit midnight, there would be like a switch over. So that was that
which is
minute
not
missing.
True. Yeah, which is not true.
Okay. But like the thing is just like the over promising. I think like I was watching Megyn Kelly say, we actually have a good clip I'm going to show you in just a minute, but like she said that like the problem was like the not the problem, but the biggest like the thing that everybody is feeling like betrayed about is the overpromising. Like you actually saying like, I have this on my desk. You're actually saying that you're going through all these videos and they're horrific. You did this whole big thing of like giving top influencers this binder and they took that picture. And that was like a big wrench in the MAGA camp and that moment as well, where a lot of people were like feeling like they couldn't trust the top influencers that they've been following for a while, that the ones that were at that at the White House that day, and they were kind of showing it off and people were like, why are you smiling? This is not a happy thing. You know, like people were really pissed about that. And then you come out and then you say like, oh, like, why are we still talking about like Trump? Like, you know, he said, why are we still talking about it? Like nobody cares about, like, how could you say nobody cares about this? Like it's not the only thing that we care about. No, we can care about multiple things at once, but this is a huge deal. We're talking about, you know, people that were trafficked, children that were trafficked. Like it's insane. So yeah, let's just listen to Megyn real quick. She gives kind of like 3 possibilities of what she thinks could be going on here.
Okay.
And again, I can speculate all day long. You can too. And speculation is fun. But we now have a bunch of people who I trust. I trust Dan Bongino. I trust Kash Patel. And I do trust the president of the United States that he is not covering up a child rape ring.
Can I say that, my tweet was a little worded differently, which was either Pam Bondi is royally screwed up. I mean, she has. That's not in dispute. She's royally screwed up. And the president is just forgiving her because she's a loyal soldier and, you know, he likes her and he doesn't want to go through the messy confirmation process of getting somebody else in there. So that's possible. That's definitely a possible number one. And there's no there in the files anyway, right? Like the way she screwed up was overpromising when she didn't have the goods, and she genuinely doesn't have the goods. And so the big mistake was overpromising, and the president doesn't really care about that mistake. Or there is something there and it's being covered up and the president blessed it, right? Like that's, but I didn't say, or there's a child sex ring that he's actively covering up, because the truth is, I think there's some middle ground between 1 and 2, you're 1 and 2, of there is something in there, more could be disclosed. And it's something short of there's a massive pedophile ring that they're covering up. Like, it would have some names. Those men would have to defend themselves. Maybe the administration doesn't think it's a fair position to put them in. Maybe there are questions about the accusers. Maybe there are like half-hearted allegations in there that, normally a DOJ would not put out, but feels like it kind of might have to, given all the promises that have been made by Pam and prior to taking office, Cash and Dan rattling about this. So I think there could be a middle ground. And also, look, this may be complete bullshit, but I've heard it from a few different people. So I just big asterisks on it. But some have speculated that the Biden DOJ may have left the Epstein files in such a manner that it like leads directly with an arrow toward Donald Trump, just as a middle finger toward Trump. Not that he did anything whatsoever, just that they're bastards and they knew he was coming in and they knew his people were interested in this story. So something like that could be between your 1 and 2, where it's less nefarious than full child sex ring. And our government officials have said, let's just move on. We're not going to release this stuff just because you overpromised Pam Bondi and because we have a top 2 officials at the FBI who were big saber rattlers about this before they took office.
So I agree that there's.
So
I
was curious. So like when I was listening to that, I was like, I gotta let Valley hear this, and I was like, I'm not gonna show it to her until we get on the show because I wanted to get like your initial like what do you think?
Look, I agree with Megyn Kelly a lot.
Mhm.
This is like not one of those times. Like, that is the biggest ass kissing answer I've ever fucking heard. She campaigned at his rallies. Okay. I am convinced, although I don't like Ben Shapiro as of late, when he talked about this on his own podcast, he said he's blindly believing the administration. What I heard just now, I agree with his approach more than Megyn Kelly. I think there is something there. I think there, the one thing with Megyn Kelly that I will agree with is perhaps Trump got the blessing to cover it up. But to me, the combined defensiveness, because again, when a reporter asked Bondi specifically about the Epstein files, it wasn't a question directed at Trump. Trump, took over, said, why do we care about this dead guy? For years, we've talked about this dead guy. He's talked about in Truth Social tweets. He's a solo, I don't know if he said predator or pervert or don't
like
quote
this
me on
whole
this.
thing was just about feeding him these.
Was basically, Ghislaine Maxwell is like in prison because she handed over these minors to Jeffrey and Jeffrey alone type of thing. And like, why are we still worrying about it? Jeffrey Epstein's gone. There's nothing to find. There's nothing to see here. The only issue with that is that, Pam Bondi, and I do have a list here. Pam Bondi basically said that there were over 250 victims. Okay. That's a lot of victims if you're just going to say that Jeffrey Epstein was working alone. Over 250 victims. Keep saying tomorrow. If you look at all of her Fox interviews, right? Keep saying tomorrow we'll have something. Tomorrow we'll have more information. All of, Jesse Waters says that all of his homes were wired by recording devices. Patel goes on Rogan and says, we're working our asses off to give you the information we're able to. We're going to give you all the information. And then doesn't. And then, before Patel gets into office, he says this doesn't look like a unaliving. You're not supposed to have 6 feet of cloth to be able to hang yourself with. And then Pam Bondi is going around giving deadlines and saying that the deadlines, the only reason the American public doesn't have the files is because the deadlines that were being given to the Southern District of New York was holding them up. So when you have all of this information, you can't just backtrack. This is, this is the age of social media. We have everything on tape. There was a live that Kyle Seraphin, the FBI whistleblower, had on yesterday that I was glued to watching on X for several hours. And he put together every single fucking receipt, every receipt. And it makes the administration look so bad. Like this is
like you could have just came
for.
out. No, you could just come out and say, okay, there's a lot that went down. There's a lot that's missing. We're gonna, this is what we have so far, and we're not gonna stop looking. We're going to be doing other things as we've been doing because there is a country to save here on many different fronts. But don't just say, okay, it's done now. That's like, for me, like, because the last time we talked about this, I mean, we talk about this, but like the last time we talked about this on the show.
Yeah, we only talk like twice a week. Okay?
We only talk on the show, guys. But like, no, every time we talk about this, like, my first reaction was, how do you do like a full 180 and then simultaneously just tell people like, just get over it?
Well, and
there has to be something going on. And then now I'm just like,
Laura Trump is coming out. Laura Trump is trying to do damage control. She's coming out and saying, oh, actually, there is more information. The DOJ literally closed the case.
Yeah. So is that not true? Is the case not closed? Like, right. I don't know. And then also, I mean, I this is neither here nor there, but I really doubt that it's just men on this list. I have like something in my gut telling me that there are women that could be implicated as well. And I also don't think it's just our government. I really don't. I mean, everybody knows about Prince Andrew. I mean, that's like the one that like everybody
can travel.
Right. But But I also think it's many other world leaders, maybe some royalty. Like now I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, if you are now using this Epstein list or whatever, Black Book or whatever the heck you have, to use that as blackmail against these other people in order to get everything else that we need to fix this country done. I understand what you're doing, but I'm not okay with that. Because the people that you're protecting in order to get everything else done, they're compromised, and once you leave office, they're going to continue to be compromised, and they're going to be able to get moved around in the other direction. We have to have transparency. We have to give justice to the people that were harmed over decades with Epstein. And I also want to check, like, I think you guys should check if there are other islands. Like, I doubt like Epstein was the only one doing crap like this. Like, you have Diddy, who had his whole thing. Like, I really think that there is a lot more going on throughout the world.
Well, so I know with Epstein specifically, it was Epstein Island, and then it was a couple of his residencies in New York specifically, right?
Yeah.
And then, I know a lot of people, and this isn't me making like any type of like allegations, but I do know a lot of people that have partied in St. Bart's. So,
and there's a lot of islands.
Kind of have to worry, like, what nefarious things are going on over there.
Right. I mean, you think of people like they can go underground. Like, there was talks about submarines and things like that, of possibility with the Epstein thing, and like you can't fly a huge plane like that, the Lolita Express. You couldn't fly that onto his island. You would have to fly wherever it is, and then take a yacht or a helicopter to the island itself. But if you like go on Google Earth, there's a ton of little islands scattered everywhere. Like, you would have to zoom all the way in to see these places. And a lot of those places are blurred out. Like, if you try to.
Yeah. And another thing, before we tie it into this next segment, because I could go on and on. Like, I'm constantly on Spaces. I was on a stream for about an hour and a half last night talking about just Epstein. So I could go on and on and on about this, right?
But it's like you have fatigue, but like you don't want to stop talking.
Yeah.
About it,
but
like,
what is interesting is that, you talk about foreign interests. A lot of people talk about Mossad and Israeli intelligence, and talks about, if this possibly ties into wars that the West is currently fighting in. Like, the rabbit hole absolutely goes deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even talking to someone who was saying that Diddy could have possibly been tied into Epstein, and you and I are doing a deep dive on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to explore as well. But I will say that definitely he had ties to Mossad. I believe also to Russia. There's other foreign agencies on there as well. But if this is, bigger than just politicians, if it's international leaders involved, I mean, it's just, who knows? And with Ghislaine Maxwell, I keep saying her name wrong. I don't think
I think it's Ghislaine, but I've heard everybody say it differently too.
She is actually asking for an appeal. The last date for the appeal is today. And if she does get that appeal, but if Congress denies having the information heard in front of Congress, then
why
I don't
would
know.
they? They shouldn't. Well, I mean, I'm not asking you. I'm just like, they should then. Like, if everybody's trying to say like we're the sole, voice of opposition to whatever Trump and his administration is doing, then this is the time.
And if the Republicans do deny that, that's going to make the Trump administration look even more guilty, with, either being complicit or, even more. So let's go ahead and bring up another thing we didn't vote for, though.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm actually going to read off the screen, Brian, because for some reason it's not opening on here. So just scroll slow, beg of you. So coming to you from Axios, Trump to supply missiles to Ukraine gives Russia 50-day ultimatum. I feel like I can't swallow anymore. Okay, President Trump announced Monday that the U.S. will dramatically increase weapons supplies to European allies, with those countries then sending arms to Ukraine. A source familiar with the plan tells Axios the U.S. will sell around $10 billion in weapons to NATO allies in the first wave. The supplies ultimately bound for Ukraine include missiles and air defense. So I actually have like another article from USA Today. We can pull it up on the screen if you like, or I can just read it. I'll just put it here in the private chat. So basically, it's just like another thing that has us all questioning as well, because we voted for the hope that like one of the things that we voted for was the hope that these wars would stop, that we would stop, because we're such a huge funder of a lot of things that go on in this world, a lot of conflicts. Whenever they need something, they call, Big Daddy United States, to open up the ATM. But we were hoping that this all would stop. And I'm going to say what I've always said, and I still believe that. We don't know the ins and outs of these conflicts. We don't understand what it means to fully withdraw or what. We don't understand what the conversations are within NATO. And I know a lot of people and I agree that we need to get out of NATO, because it essentially just keeps us in these wars. I mean, you're basically, you have a treaty with all of these places that if any of them have beef, like, we're going to be there to protect you, or we're automatically your allies in that, no matter what it is. I mean, you could have went over and punched the other leader in the face, and now all of a sudden we have to foot the bill for what's going on over there. So it's really crazy. I mean, Trump was on a press conference. He said that we're going to supply a large amount of these weapons to NATO, and that they're going to pay. That we're going to sell them. So they're going to pay for it 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like, yay, we're not footing the bill, but at the same time, is that how we're planning to make our money? So, I know we're bringing in a lot of money from tariffs and everything, but is that on the menu, that we're going to be using our ability to make war machines and armor and all these other things that continue feeding these wars? Is that how we're going to make some of our money and crush some of our debt?
Yeah, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting, right? Because this is actually a very liberal type of move. This is what I would expect. I would expect the same exact thing from a Harris administration, right? Because liberals are constantly the ones that, except for, there are anti-war leftists, and I see that there's been a lot of, overlap. But when it comes to Ukraine, typically a leftist administration, like a Democratic administration, would be like, we have to support our allies. NATO has to support Ukraine. And the appeal about Trump originally, right, is that he was like, we talked about the ceasefires. I'm going to end the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours. I think he also thought he was on better terms with Putin. As of lately, there has been word that, he was talking about like attacking Moscow. I think we talked about this a little bit last week. And now Russia essentially has 55, it's either 50 or 55 days to
50,
respond. Yeah. Okay, to respond to this. And I don't think this is a way to go about a ceasefire. The reason why this has been going on essentially since 2014, off and on, is that we have been supplying Ukraine with billions and billions and billions of dollars in weapons.
I mean, I will say one thing though, like when Trump first came in and he said that we're going to stop the money flow to Zelensky, right? And then there was like that whole thing where he came to the office and it basically looked like he was being, he was being sunned by Trump. Like he was just like sitting there and there were all these memes and stuff like that. And then the UK came out and was like, oh, we're going to pledge, to send like all this money to Ukraine to help them out. And then you have, anytime there's ceasefire talks, it's like, they can't come to an agreement and, the war continues and the missiles still go. So I can say one thing is that maybe what Trump is thinking is that if he doesn't get involved and do something to where, he can give Ukraine some missiles to, stop, I forgot like the word is, but like kind of like stop the other missiles from coming, like to shoot them in the air and like, bring those drones down and stuff like that. It's going to go on no matter what, because these other nations are going to put money up and allow it to continue. So like maybe he feels like he needs to be involved. I don't know. It just seems like I just don't understand like where are what I keep asking the same question, like what the hell is the end game for all of this? It just seems like we're just supporting to continue to have like missiles going back and forth.
Yeah. And then, Brian, if you want to scroll up just a little bit, I want to show kind of the contrast between two different posts. So there was one from Nick Sorter. Stop. Oh, go down a little bit. So right here. So Nick Sorter, as an example, he, we're mutuals. He has a lot of great takes, but most of them, are in favor of Trump. So, he's saying, breaking, NATO will be purchasing $10 billion in arms from the United States in a deal negotiated by President Trump per Axios. No American tax dollars will be sent to Ukraine. And Europe is finally paying the US. This is how it's done. And I was actually on a space earlier today where like there are people who agree with this take. Well, we're helping NATO and we are profiting, right? So, I kind of made it's not a joke. It's actually sad. But, I said something along the lines of like, oh, so we're killing people, but profiting off of war now. And then there was another, tweet, which I believe was from Natalie. She is a constitutionalist, has some libertarian views. She was basically like, I did not vote for war with Iran. I did not vote for war with Ukraine. I did not vote for the cover up of the Epstein files. It was something along the lines of that. Let me see. Oh, let's see how well I memorized it. Okay, I didn't vote for increased spending. I didn't vote for Elon Musk hate. I mean, that's kind of debatable. I feel like they keep breaking up and getting back together. Last month, Trump and the Trump administration has been an absolute joke. And there are a lot of people who are feeling like this. They are feeling like the bait and switch is real. Like at this point, I don't think this is, you can, get on me all you want, But I don't think this would have been radically different than a Harris administration. I don't. Because, when Trump campaigned, he campaigned radically different. His promises were radically different. Who is going to be in his administration is radically different. But what's actually going on is severely different than what he campaigned on. So I think the reality is way closer to a Harris administration than what the dream to all of us was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you somewhat. I don't agree that it would be the same with Harris. I really don't. I mean,
I believe it would be similar. I truly do.
I think of everything as a whole. Maybe on these two fronts, like we wouldn't have seen anything with the Epstein files. Like they probably wouldn't have even went into it because nobody would have been pressuring them. Like how, the MAGA base, like we will pressure, like if we don't agree with what's being done by our own base. But like, so that I don't think would have happened at all. Like it wouldn't have been a discussion. I also think like there wouldn't have been any kind of pauses or any kind of like move around when it comes to like the wars. But when it comes to everything else that's going on with like immigration and all that stuff, like that would have been huge. We would have still had like all of these sleeper cells, terrorists just running around. We still do. Like they have still a lot of work to do. But I don't think any of it would have been addressed because they would have just been like, yeah, whatever, party on. Like,
I mean,
just like letting them come through.
This is my thing. Yeah, this is my thing. I mean, I do know that we have, what do they call it? Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. And I do know that we are working on, deportation and things like that. I think people just need to realize there's always been like this double standard in America, where the Democrats can do no wrong, whether they're pro open borders, pro secure borders. Like Obama was the deporter in chief. And now Trump is talking about amnesty to particular individuals. So I'm still, I'm still skeptical. So.
Yeah. I mean, I do like everything that I'm seeing as far as like that raid on the marijuana farm. That was insane. Finding a bunch of those kids. Like they're still actively working to find like the 300,000 missing kids.
And Newsom knew about it.
Yeah. And there's a lot. Oh, and then, you have Karen Bass now who says she's going to use taxpayer dollars to pay people who decide not to go to work because they're in fear of being deported. So like you have that going on.
Yeah. So in fact, Cal State Los Angeles, Cal State LA, they have moved all of their classes to online classes in fears of being deported. Now, being in California, I have seen ICE just randomly show up at schools, at parking lots. I don't agree with them showing up at schools. I think that's the easiest way for children to become traumatized. I think there's a way to go about things without causing trauma. But at the same time, LA being like a sanctuary city, they are almost going against Trump just because it's Trump.
And also other reasons too. Like they want their voters, they want to look like the saviors of these people. And how many of those kids were brought in here by people who weren't their family? Like Biden got rid of all the DNA testing and everything. Like, so
I mean,
I probably don't want to go to the home. No. I'm just saying like there's just so much going on that I really think like we would have been in hell in a handbasket if it was Harris. I'm not saying that I'm not upset about everything because as you can see, like my demeanor today on this show, I'm feeling like I just want to kind of fall asleep and like wake up and everything will just go back to when we were all like really gung-ho and happy about everything that was going on. But yeah, I don't even know what the answer is because we're gonna, if this keeps going on, if they don't do another 180 on this whole Epstein thing, just that alone, we're going to have a big problem at the midterms, and it's just going to be Yeah, and either way. So, and I don't even know if it's plausible to say that like an independent's going to come in and win like these big seats. Like, will it happen, or will we just break all of this up and it'll just end up going to the Democrats? Like, I have no idea. Like, it just seems like we're stuck on glue, and like we can't, no matter where we step, it's just going to keep following us. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think there's damage control that needs to be done. I think Trump's unhinged True Social posts and, you know, being very defensive of Pam Bondi is telling. We will have to see it. I hate to say it, it'll most likely go to the Democrats. I truly think the Republicans are screwed for the midterms. But, you know, I just think that there's too many unanswered questions. I know Blair White is like doing an interview, or she did an interview. I have to watch it. Maybe we could watch it.
Yeah, I was looking at it a little bit today for one of the Epstein's
interviewed.
victims.
One of Epstein's victims. I know there was a Miss Stein who, I can't recall her first name, when she was interviewed years ago, and they just addressed her by Miss Stein. She was 10 years old when she got trafficked. And again, I just feel like there are some stronger points in the administration. And then, you know, in regards to ICE and Karen Bass, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. She's also a Scientologist. I have these thoughts on her.
The ties to Cuban rebels and all that. Yeah. Like there's a lot. And there's a lot more politicians throughout this nation that are extremely questionable, and they shouldn't be in the position that they're in. So I think it's like this whole nation has been crushed into a shit show for so long that there is a lot of cleanup to do. But I think in order to get everybody back on track with everything else, they need to come out and do some kind of damage control, as you said, for this Epstein thing. Like, that is huge. I mean, the war stuff is also another thing, but the Epstein thing, like, and you can't come out and tell, like it is a gaslighting statement to be like, oh, you guys don't care about it. But all right, let's move on to that, because I know we're burning the show.
Yeah, we're going to the AP story where we're talking about what was going on in Lexington. I can go ahead and pull that up on my end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is like the other things that we're talking about that are going on, like all these little things that are happening.
Yeah.
This isn't little by any stretch of the word, but just the attack on
more localized
faith, and like that's another thing we got to worry about now.
Yeah, so a suspected Kentucky church shooter had a domestic violence hearing the next day. All right, Deflection King. Just kidding. Just kidding. Dark humor. Don't hate me. All right. So the man accused of killing 2 women in a shooting rampage at a Kentucky church after wounding a state trooper had been expected in court for domestic hearing on Monday, a local official said. That is wild to me. That is extremely shocking, because he already had a DV hearing. So, you know, this guy is an extremely brutal, dangerous individual. And perhaps the motive, because I haven't read this article yet, I'm sure maybe it'll give me the motive, but perhaps the motive was that this all stemmed from his hatred of women. However, let's keep reading. A chilling account of Sunday's attack. Star Rutherford, a relative of the 2 slain women, said Guy House, what a name, went to the Lexington area church looking for one of her sisters, but was told she wasn't there. He declared, well, I guess someone's going to have to die then. Like, okay, so he went to the church looking for one of his, looking for her sister. So a relative of the women. Okay. So is that like his like wife?
Like looking for the mother of his children. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rutherford spoke to the Lexington-based broadcaster. So, you know, the local station WKRM YTTV, and later House killed Christina Combs, who media reports said was another one of the sisters. Okay, so who's going after all of the sisters? 2 men were also critically wounded. He went to the Richmond Road Baptist Church seeking the mother of his children, but his domestic violence hearing did not involve her.
So this guy is basically just like a fire tornado, and he's going after
Wait,
anybody.
so the hearing did not involve the woman of his children. So who did it involve?
It doesn't say in the article, but I'm guessing maybe they're just not releasing that name because she had nothing to do with this incident.
Yeah. Yeah, like if it says mother of the children, then perhaps it was they're separated and maybe it was someone he took out on a date. Could have been a bar encounter. We really don't know all the facts.
Right.
Oh, my voice just kind of cracked there. We really don't know all the facts. Let me see if there's one more article that talks about that, and then we'll go over to caption this. Let me see if I just search the web.
They say he was, obviously, with the outfit he has on, was an Islamist pro-Palestinian.
Ooh, yeah, that picture is not. I do have one more article. If you want to bring it up quickly, Brian, it looks like it's written a little better. AP's writing does suck. I agree with you.
It's just crazy. People are just so ready to commit violence. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just kind of skimming over this. He was a leftist and a free Palestine Muslim. Okay, yeah, here's the New York Post article. Yeah, so let's see here.
Are we gonna have to start having security outside all of the churches and metal detectors and stuff?
When you think about it, there are metal detectors and security outside of synagogues right now. So it's a very scary time. The deranged suspect ended up killing the woman's mom and sister. So the woman of his children, his mom and sister, and injuring several other people before being fatally shot by police. This is his picture. Notice how the AP did not leak his photo.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They want to protect that scarf.
Yeah. House already had a lengthy rap sheet. So, okay, he probably had additional charges and arrests besides a DB. Jeez.
Okay, so yeah, after barging into
he was an influencer.
He said that his target wasn't inside, so then he was already in there.
Yeah.
So
But do you see this? He was an influencer. So was he on TikTok?
As Honky Kong? You got to be kidding me, right?
What?
These are the moments where I'm we're in a damn simulation, and I go down
in 2022, he was featured. Oh, go up a little bit, please. In 2022, he was featured by local authorities as Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week.
I'm it's HONKY, right? HONKY, and then
Honky Kong,
or is it with an EY? Because I found.
No, I found
something here. It's just a
His
Y.
rap sheet included, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and endangerment of a police officer. He was also previously sought on theft of a vehicle, fleeing and evading, and receiving stolen property charges. His social media are filled with selfies, including one of him apparently wearing a. I'm gonna not attempt that. So those, Palestinian scarves. Kafia. Thank you. His latest crime spree unfolded when he was pulled over during a traffic stop. And those were the victims. Yeah, dude, AP didn't do shit on that article. I don't know if that's because they were told not to, or perhaps when that story was released, it was a developing story, but
could be.
Yeah.
I mean, this came out today at 12:43. This article was dropped. I mean, I don't know how far before like that they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think we're still in a lot of trouble when it comes to everybody that's been coming into this country, whether they came over the border or just flew in, people that came here legally, people that were born here and then just started going down this pro-Palestinian movement and getting like violent by the minute. Like, I don't even know what the answer is, but like, you know, because we're supposed to have a free country. We're supposed to give people some rights, due process, all of this other kind of stuff. But like, what are we supposed to do? Like, with all of these people running around that are totally fine with, you know, I mean, this is the extreme. This is taking people's lives, but totally fine with like breaking property, you know, getting in people's faces, you know, maybe getting violent with some people. Like, what do we do with all of this? Like, how, and then you have like whichever state you happen to be in, whether or not they're going to get in trouble for the things that they do. Yeah. So, I mean, I doubt in Kentucky they would allow something like this, you know, to go on, these violent protests and things like that. But this is a bit crazy. All right, so I think we have time maybe just for this one moment before we get to caption this, because there's really not much to say about it. It was just like another, you know, crazy thing that happened on X over the past week. I don't know if you guys have been on X recently, but it seems like the beloved character from Sesame Street, when I think you put it perfectly, Valley, on your post, like he went nuclear. And he's like, there was all of these anti-Semitic posts that came out. I'm not even going to read what the posts are. I'm sure you can find them if you go look on X, but just suffice it to
I was
say
very
they were
careful.
Extremely concerning. Yeah.
Yeah, I went over this a bit last night, and I was extremely careful to not read anything out loud. You know, when we had this discussion earlier in our production meeting, I was under the understanding that Elmo's account was, you know, because anyone can be like anonymous on X, and you can label anything as a parody account. You can say you're anyone. But apparently it does look like the Sesame Workshop confirmed that it was a hack and not official content. It's extremely bizarre content. There was content, you know, basically saying like, you know, F DJT. Release the that one's insane. And then like thankfully people got screenshots, because I like
deleted all of it.
Yeah, I saw all of it like in real time, but I didn't take any screenshots. And then there was a lot that was like, you know, F a certain type of people, like, you know, what we
calling for violence. Yeah.
Calling for violence, like almost like anonymous type shit, you know, like it reminded me of two accounts. It reminded me of either Anonymous or Yee. Like it was like that type of crash out, you know?
Yeah. With the Yee, yep.
Yeah, and Elmo was tickled.
Oh no.
He was tickled to his breaking point, apparently. Like it was just like wild. Like he literally was like fucking nuclear. Like it just critics ask why protections weren't stronger. Investigation into breach is underway. Digital safety for children. Like, okay, first of all, children shouldn't be on X, so let's just get that clear.
Right.
And also I only thought protections really just applied to government accounts, because in my opinion, since it is a free speech platform, right? Although it's hateful rhetoric, unless it's a government official account, it's very hard for them to track where it's coming from. I guess
yeah, they won't use the resources either to do it.
Yeah,
too,
they won't use the
probably.
resources. I mean, they might be able to like look up the IP or something like that.
Mhm.
But again, if you go in and delete that IP history, or if they were using like a VPN or something like that, there's really no way. Yeah, like my like conspiracy tinfoil thought was like, you know what? Like, we really don't know who's behind the account. And maybe
True.
this person was severely offended about what's going on with the Epstein files. And is
And
really
how people are linking it to
upset.
Mossad and yeah.
And are really upset how, people are dying, and just was like, fuck it. I could claim I was hacked. Nothing's going to happen to me. Like,
It's very
like
possible.
we don't know. We don't know.
It's very possible. Yeah, and there was a statement from Sesame Street. First off, we deeply apologize for horrific behavior that many experienced. They wrote in an X post, our intent for Grok is to provide helpful and truthful responses to users. After careful investigation, we discovered the root cause was an update to a code path upstream of the Grok bot. This is independent of the underlying language model that powers Grok. Okay, so it's Grok's fault. It's Grok's fault again. Grok's just freaking a hot mess right now. But yeah, so that's that. I mean, whatever. Like, it's so weird anyway. Like you said, that like kids shouldn't even be on this platform. So why do we have Elmo have like an account anyway? It's freaking weird. But anyway.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't know if it was like the official account is it would like tag people like Miss Rachel, Blippi, and I don't
people
maybe
on the show.
Yeah, well, and then maybe they don't have. Well, they're primarily yeah. I mean, and Blippi has a children's show, but Miss Rachel is primarily on TikTok. So if maybe they don't have accounts on X, but if they did have accounts, why would Elmo tag them? It was just kind of like retweeting a ton of stuff featuring Elmo. That's why I was like, okay, maybe it's more of like a parody account. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I swear, I just can't even believe we're like, Elmo, what did you do? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, Elmo's in timeout.
Yeah. All right. So are you ready for a palate cleanser from all of this? I know I am. You ready for Caption This? All right.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. All right, so if you guys don't know, this is Caption. This is a game we play at the end of every Sunset Ranch show, and it's an AI-generated image, and we ask you, the audience, to please join us in coming up with a funny caption for this image. So give your best in the chat. And if you don't know, this is actually, this was submitted to us by one of our audience members, Rebel, so thank you for that. And if you do join the Discord, you'll be able to submit these captions in there as well.
Awesome.
And this is actually, this actually happened where a panda was like fighting and pulling the feathers off of a peacock. Like, this happened in real life. I saw the video. It was freaking crazy. So this is an AI generated photo from that event. Yeah. So... Oh no, Mulgaro's got nothing. Okay, all right. Well, you have a moment to warm up.
he's like, this isn't dark enough for me. I'm out. I know. I like saw that, and I didn't even know there was like a story behind it. I was like, what?
I don't even know. This is so stupid, but I'm just gonna put that in there because that's all I got.
Okay, let's see if I have anything to say. Hold on.
It was you that hacked Elmo Bird. Yeah, it was Big Bird. Big Bird is the culprit, and like.
Right.
Hey, Jason, welcome. Let's see. Reminder that pandas are still fucking bears. I was going to say Natanya, when National Geographic turns into a Quentin Tarantino documentary. Oh my God. Bears going to bear. I came into pandas. What did I miss? Oh, did you get to see the photo? It's captioned this with basically like a panda pulling out the feathers of a peacock. That was like a real video. There it is. There.
I left one on X. I don't know if you're able to pull that up. It's nothing quite creative though.
I was afraid to open up X as well because when I had like, I forgot what day it was. It was like Monday or I forgot what day it was, but like I kept getting kicked off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were doing the show and it literally like every 5 minutes.
I saw that. No, I messaged you.
Whatever. I just submitted.
I messaged you afterwards. I was like, are you okay? Like,
oh, right.
Poor Brian had his co-host missing like 6 or 7 times.
And it was funny too, because every time I wanted to make a point, I got cut off. I was like, and here's the thing.
Like, did you find out if there was like something wrong with your internet that day?
I think it was just the like because it was like really hot, like and humid. So I think everybody just had their ACs on, and it was just like the energy was being, I don't know, because my husband was having the same issues with the streaming TV at the same time. So it wasn't like the computer.
Yeah.
Give me liberty or give me feathers.
Yeah. Right. Oh no, that's the best I could do.
That panda looks freaking scary.
Although panda reminds me of China, reminds me of communism. So maybe that doesn't work if the panda's saying give me liberty or give me feathers.
Yeah, and then like the whatchamacallit, what the hell is it called? Oh my God, I just blanked on the type of animal the other one is. Peacock.
Peacock. Like the streaming channel.
Yeah, Peacock is like Utopia.
Well, you know why it's called Peacock, right? Because NBC has
with the peacock?
Their logo is the peacock, yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew that it was part of it.
Yeah, all the different things are the feathers.
Yeah. Well, no, that I knew, but I didn't know that Peacock was like under the umbrella.
Yeah, so Peacock is under NBC's umbrella. Paramount Plus is under CBS.
Yeah. And what else did we find out about Paramount and something else recently? I think it was like Viacom.
Our producer is telling us to pick one. I don't know. Like, you can pick one. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like, let's see you fly too close to the sun now. Bear's gonna bear. I don't know. I'm so bad at this.
Got a bear. Okay, I don't know. Remember that song? Play us. I gotta play.
I actually
I got a bear.
I think because of like all the like looking up making the band and stuff, like everything we were doing for the Diddy you know, investigative reporting stuff, like my For You page on YouTube is really funny, and it's like all this R&B stuff, like songs that I totally forgot about.
Jason, I just heard that all pandas in the world are legally owned by China. This is a national defense issue I'm concerned about.
Oh, you think maybe they have like chips in them and then they're sending them here to like spy? That actually would be insane. Imagine. It's not far off.
And yet we're protecting them?
Right. That would be like the biggest like ironic FU.
Yeah. Bear's gonna bear would look good on a t-shirt. Yeah. Did anyone actually say Bear's gonna bear?
Yeah.
It was Rebel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do Bear's gonna bear.
Yeah, I like that too. because it kind of goes with the idea that like
Yeah.
Panda is a damn bear, so it's not going to be all cute and cuddly with another animal. All right, so congratulations, Rebel with no yell. Bears going to bear. Yes, they are. So don't think they're just cute and cuddly because you remember your stuffed animal when you were a kid. Stay away. But yeah, thank you guys.
Bear. I had a polar bear when I was a child.
Oh, I had the Snuggle Bear. Remember the Snuggle Bear from Downey? I had that stuffed animal, like the little brown one.
Exist? I thought it was just from the commercial.
No, they sold them, so I had one. Why do I feel like you're judging me? Don't judge me. I didn't judge you when you said you had a polar bear. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, happy Monday to you. You got through it. And we'll see you guys again on Wednesday night. Of course, same time, same place. Don't forget you got Tay and D tomorrow and Thursday as usual. Same time, same place. We got a ton of shows going on. Valley and I are working hard on Facts and Stats. We're going to be dropping that the following Monday. This coming Monday, rather. We got the Drive-In tomorrow. We got a new show that's popping up soon, The Fringe. We even got some other shows that are going on behind the scenes that we'll be telling you about soon. And yeah, you can follow the show on ROMA Nation, all one word, on Rumble. You can go to our riseofmiddleamerica.com with that Q&R code at the top of the screen. I'm just going to do this from now on. And it'll take you there. You'll get to see everything, all of the latest videos. You'll get to our Discord if you want to hang out with us. So definitely go there. Valley, anything else you want to point out? We don't usually have anything at the end.
I'm so tapped out. There's so much going on in the world, so much craziness. Just remember to, take some time for yourself, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Have a great night, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.